Hey everyone, welcome to Bite-Sized Crypto. You know, if you're from Germany, chances are really high that you won't like at all what I'm going to tell you in this video. But at the same time, I actually wish that my assessment of the situation and the predictions I make based on that will turn out wrong. In fact, I would be dancing in the streets if in 1 or 2 years from now someone would come up to me to tell me what a fool I've been and that I got things totally wrong. Alright, with that out of the way, here is why I believe that Germany and the EU are toast. Simply said, there are now so many macroeconomic imbalances which are causing the dominoes to fall, and markets are beginning to realize that. Normally having problems like what we're seeing now would be enough to trigger a small recession, but with the whole set of imbalances that the EU has been building up for the last 13, 14 years, I think it's inevitable that the consequences will be severe. The path the markets are now taking shows that all confidence in stability has been lost. So why will Germany suffer? There are a couple of reasons for that. For the last decades, Germany's, and by extension Europe's, business model looked something like this. Buy cheap resources and materials from other countries, turn them into high-value products, and sell them for a high price. That is what brought Germany and Europe prosperity. And this business model is now over for 2 reasons. Number 1, a big part of the energy needed came from Russia, and we all know that this is now a story of the past, and Germany cannot get cheap energy from other places anymore, not in the near term. Reason number 2, global supply chains broke down. For example, in Germany you can no longer order a computer server without having a delivery time of 4 to 5 months. In principle, this has never happened in the last few decades. Ultimately, this will bring down all the companies whose bankruptcy was prevented through the European Central Bank's monetary policy over the last years. And within the next few quarters, I believe the impact will be so severe because the ECB has propped up about 15% of all German companies as zombies that are no longer competitive on a global market. I believe that the Germans only have 4 anti-cyclical sectors that are not directly torn into the abyss. These are food, pharmaceuticals, mining, and weapons. These are actually the only counter-cyclical industries that are likely to withstand the pressure at all. However, they still heavily rely on access to cheap energy. And at the same time, Germany has a damaged banking sector, in which, on the one hand, the bank balance sheets have eroded, and on the other hand, the quality of balance sheets is poor due to all the zombies who got all the loans. The result is also reflected in the share prices of the 2 major German banks listed on the stock exchange in Germany. It is not yet visible for the other banks because they're not listed, but the numbers there do not look very different. Here we simply see a massively eroded financial system as the long-term consequence of failed monetary policy. So this crisis will now lead into a recession, and this recession will then escalate into a very severe recession with massive amounts of bankruptcies across Europe. And no matter how many subsidies, they won't be able to stop them. Opening the floodgates of monetary policy will not lead to a significant calming of the situation. At the same time, however, it will lead to a massive expansion of the money supply at a time when industrial production falls, and this will very quickly turn this deflation we're seeing now into inflation. The deflationary phase will probably last 3 or 4 quarters. It is very difficult to say how quickly this will unfold, but in view of the drama ahead, it will happen rather sooner than later that Germany and the EU will find themselves in an orgy of bank bailouts and corporate bailouts. We already have heard the words, whatever it takes, from the ECB. And that means that with freshly printed money, every measure will be taken to somehow bring this disaster to an economic halt. However, this will not succeed because industrial production can no longer be ramped up to the levels of the past. So all the money cannot be absorbed by a stagnant or falling economy, which will lead to massive inflation. There's just no other way. And that will then take another 2, 3, maybe 4 quarters. And after that, the collapse of the euro is in the air. I seriously believe that the euro will break in the coming years. Because a major problem is that the markets are losing all confidence in the reliability of the European players. So while the Fed still has reserves, the European central banks have used up their ammunition. Brace for impact. Alright, that's it for this video. If you liked it, please share, like and subscribe. See you in the next video.